Imagine a place where grown men vanish into thin air. No traces, no footprints, just a deafening, haunting silence. December 26, 1900. A supply ship reaches the remote Flannan Isles off the coast of Scotland, only to find the lighthouse dock and the flag missing. When the rescue team finally steps inside, they find a scene frozen in time. A meal left and finished on the table and a chair lying overturned on the floor. 3 experienced keepers were gone, leaving behind a final log entry so terrifying that investigators kept it secret for years. Tonight, on Midnight Mysteries, we uncover the truth behind the Flannan Isles disappearance. Stick around, because the final piece of evidence we've found will change everything you think you know about this case. The Flannan Isles, 7 desolate, rocky peaks known to sailors as the 7 Hunters. For centuries, these islands were feared. Legends spoke of supernatural forces, strange lights, and voices calling from the deep. In 1895, a massive lighthouse was built on the largest island, Eilean Moor, to guide ships through these treacherous waters. The crew consisted of 3 seasoned men: James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. These weren't amateurs. They were hardened veterans of the sea. On December 7, 1900, they began their rotation. It would be the last time anyone saw them alive. The supply ship Hesperus arrived on Boxing Day to find the island eerily still. A relief keeper, Joseph Moore, climbed the steep stairs to the lighthouse alone. He found the entrance unlocked. Inside, the kitchen fire had been out for days. On the table sat a meal prepared but never eaten. A chair was knocked over, as if someone had scrambled away in a sudden, desperate panic. Moore searched every corner. The beds were empty. The keepers were nowhere to be found. Then he opened the logbook, and his world turned upside down. The logbook entries are the most disturbing part of this legend. On December 12th, Thomas Marshall wrote, "Severe winds the likes of which I have never seen. James Ducat is very quiet. Donald MacArthur has been crying. Think about that." MacArthur was a legendary tough guy, a man who had survived 1,000 storms. What could possibly make a man like him weep in terror? On the 13th, the log says, "Storm still raging. All 3 of us have been praying." Then, the final entry on December 15th. Storm ended, sea calm. God is over all. If the storm had passed and God was over all, why did they vanish? And what exactly were they praying to? 3 grown men, terrified and weeping on a silent island. What do you think they saw out there? Drop your theories in the comments, and hit that like button if you're enjoying the mystery so far. The official investigation tried to claim they were swept away by a rogue wave, but the facts don't fit. First, their oilskins heavy raincoats were found hanging inside. No professional keeper would ever face a North Atlantic storm without his gear. Second, the timeline. If they vanished on the 15th, why was the light dark for 11 full days before the ship arrived? Third, the damage. Iron railings 100 feet above sea level were twisted like wire. Massive boulders had been tossed down like pebbles. The weather reports from nearby stations confirmed the sea was relatively calm that week. So, what had the power to bend iron and move mountains, while the rest of the ocean was still? For over a century, theories have ranged from the logical to the nightmarish. Was it a murder-suicide? There was no blood, no struggle. Was it foreign spies? There was no strategic reason to kidnap 3 lighthouse keepers. Or was it something older? Local Gaelic legends speak of the blue men of the Minch, ancient sea spirits that claim the souls of those who disturb the silence of the Isles. In 120 years, not a single body has ever washed ashore. In these waters, the sea always gives back what it takes, unless something else took them first. Now, for the secret that shatters the legend. In 2013, researchers discovered that those famous logbook entries, the parts about the men crying and praying, were likely fabricated years after the disappearance to make the story more sensational. The original logs were far more mundane. This leaves us with an even darker question. Who faked the logs? And what were they trying to hide? Perhaps the answer lies with a dying sailor who was near the island that night. On his deathbed, he told his grandson he saw something massive rise from the water, near Eilean Moor. He refused to describe it, only whispering for final words. It came from below. James, Thomas, and Donald. 3 names etched into a mystery that may never be solved. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse is automated now. No humans are needed to keep the light turning. But if you ever find yourself sailing those waters on a cold December night, don't look too closely at the rocks. And whatever you do, don't go ashore. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, subscribe to Midnight Mysteries and hit the bell. Next time, we're investigating an entire town that vanished overnight. I'll see you at midnight.